Spiritual focus. To accept fully empowerment of Spirit and God's authority to act through you. Christic pure symbol. A lion-headed man or woman carrying a flaming heart in its left hand and a shining star in its right hand. The Christed Yeshua's words, "The lion is in the lamb, yet devours it not." Sekhmet is not to be feared. She is our ally. Thoth speaks of Sekhmet as an archetype that is never wedded with an incarnation, like Thoth or Osiris or Isis. These are archetypes that have had certain representations along the way, but they have been anchored very completely into certain Solarian beings. The one that we call Isis, the one that we call Osiris, and the one that we call Thoth, and others, such as Ta, and certain ones had living physical people connected to them in that brought the energy into fullness. But Sekhmet has never had that experience, or we have never had that experience from Sekhmet, rather, that there's been an incarnated form in that sense. She is therefore a very pure primal archetype that comes from a cosmic dimension deep within the recesses of our holographic field. It is Sekhmet that hurled the Eye of Ra. Well, Thoth speaks of the Eye of Ra is the exposed area in the tear in the vault of Orion, where this tear occurred. I don't know the exact details of this, but this is the energy that comes through, that streams through from the tear. And it is Sekhmet that hurled the Eye of Ra. She brought the eye into its fullness form by raying it outward into the universe. And this raying manifestation was one that was seeking balance after a disruptive occurrence in the cosmos, in our universe. While much of this is still cloaked in mystery for me, I can say that Sekhmet is the power that resides within us to bring things into order, into balance, and to be willing to find that level plane where we can stand in balanced unity with the universe, despite all the chaos that is going on around us. And it takes great strength, great power, and great direction. It is not something for pussycats. It is something for the great lions of the universe. And so, in the temple in the chamber of Sekhmet, in the temple of Karnak, when I went there in 1996, or was it 7? It was 1997, and stood there in that chamber. It was amazing the power that I felt. Of course, many people have gone there, and I think they would probably all say the same thing. And some interesting phenomena occurred at that time as well. Because we find our focus in archetypes, in symbols, in colors and sounds. These aren't just metaphorical to our experience. They are real aspects of the hologram of the universe we have created. And we bring them forth within our own constitution, within our own spiritual functions of incarnation. And Sekhmet is a vital part of that institution of spirit within us. Spiritual focus, moving beyond the threshold and back into the star of origin, then threading the eye of the needle and bringing this first being consciousness back into your cells and into the center of the earth. Renewal, completion. Christic pure symbol, a woman clothed with the sun and full with child, the crescent moon beneath her feet and 12 stars above her head. She who is the heart wisdom giving birth to the new heaven and earth. The Christ in Yeshua's words, I am the morning star, he who is born from the womb of the eternal mother. I arise for the world that knows me not. I shall come again as a bridegroom in the night to carry thee across the threshold into the kingdom of the Father. Thoth speaks of the Great Pyramid of Giza as being the temple of the lion and also the temple of the risen one. The temple of the risen one was its most ancient name, and the temple of the lion was a more current name, not current in regard to our time now, but closer to that period. Its association with the Sphinx, of course, the Sphinx was much older, according to Thoth, than the pyramids. The original Sphinx, it's been kind of modded a few times since then, but its original appearance. And all of the pyramids have great importance. The temple of the risen one could not actually operate as it does or did, and to some extent still does, without the other pyramids present, and some that are not even revealed, that are under the sands, still very close in proximity to the Great Pyramid, as the crow flies, in the same Giza Plateau, or the Ras Tarul area. And so, the temple of the lion, the temple of the risen one, the lion represents the Solarians, the solar consciousness, the sun, the solar lords, as was Thoth and Osiris and Isis and Horus and all of those. And the temple of the risen one focuses more on Osiris as the crucible of resurrecting or rising the planet because of the dynamics of ascension that are within the vault of Osiris, beneath the temple of the risen one. So for us, as we enter initiation with the temple of the risen one, we are experiencing the forces, the powers of our own internal ascension dynamics, because each one of us, although part of the collective whole, contains a unique blueprint or fingerprint, so to speak, of the gods, that which allows us to project an aspect of the potential of the resurrected being. Ironically, this is not a singular thing. Even Yeshua rising from the dead, so to speak, and his ascension was connected to our ascension. It's all a full spectrum dynamic. And so when we enter our own temple of the risen one, we are contacting that viable node of consciousness and subtle memory that brings us into contact with the whole being that we are and how we operate in the wholeness of the universal one. Spiritual focus. Receive truth and wisdom. Walk in beauty. Become the dance. Come unto the altar and offer yourself into spiritual service. Christic pure symbol. An archway carved with ancient symbols and glyphs. Through it, the solar orb is visible and shining in the sky beyond. Yeshua's words spoken by him in the temple of Horus at Heliopolis. Heliopolis then being the city of On. I will not forsake these halls, this garden of God, nor all those who have partaken of the sacrament with me in this holy place. We will come again together in a temple of light beyond this world, and there will I be thine eyes to the past and thy heart to the present moment. Together we shall consecrate a temple without walls, without ceilings or adornment, as we shall be all these things and more for those who come after us. It was at Heliopolis, the city of On, that Yeshua, the host for the Lord Christ, dedicated himself in service to the world. It was in this sacred city that Thoth Raismes made his home and created his temple and archival library, the Aquatreme or Labyrinth of Records. After the period of silence and contemplation, we gather in a circle together, holding hands and singing. Yahweh, Yahweh, Nostra Timhapta. We come to the wellspring, we drink therein, we offer our hearts to the cup divine. We become the wine, we become the grace, we open the way to the sacred vine. We rise and fall in the sea of light as dolphins slice through the wave, and touch our souls to the brink of love that pours from the holy cave. There were no suitable pictures of the city of On. In the first place, Thoth declares that the point that is recognized as Heliopolis, which is a Greek name for the city of On, is not the original city of On. And indeed, there's only one pylon left there. It's in the middle of the city. I've been there, and it's a pretty drab-looking place with one beautiful pylon and everything else in ruins. And so Thoth directed us to go to another place that he said was the city of On, and it was in the middle of a trash dump in the city. It was quite an experience, which I won't go into here, but when we went there, the energy was incredible. No amount of trash or whatever could keep that energy from being present. It was quite an experience. And so there are no photographs I can use, so I chose this picture behind me from the representation of Heliopolis from some game. I believe it was Minecraft. And to me, it kind of does have a feeling of the original area where Thoth's academy was, where Yeshua took his solar initiation, and all of these incredible, beautiful things took place. Later, there were reasons why some of that area had to be relocated. Some of the original, libraries and whatever were relocated to where the pylon is now, but not Thoth's library. That is deep within the cavern area underneath the ground where the original temple stood, the original site of the city of On. So when we go into an experience of connecting to that energy, to the sacred city of On, that is where we go. But we go in our heart and our consciousness to experience it as a place in the heart, in the sacred chamber of the heart. And it is here that our library is stored, our access to our Akashic being. And it is here that the light of our wisdom, our enlightenment flows. And this is why we see this place as a point to receive truth and wisdom, to walk in beauty, to become the dance, to come unto the altar and offer yourself into spiritual service. It is one of the purest points that we can find within our own being to seek and find the enlightenment that we are.